So I came to this position from a background of public policy and international development with a focus on good governance. So very different from a lot of people that I'm now working around, but the application of my experience to the topic of responsible use and development of AI was pretty immediately clear to me. Governing AI use is a complex problem that requires technical, but even more so policy-related solutions. This really is what's drawn me to the topic. How can we approach these complex and changing environments in effective ways? Moreover, how does AI interact with some of the most pressing and social and policy-related issues today, such as sustainability, equality, human rights, workplace issues? All these things come into play and really have interacted with issues I've dealt with before in my past experience. Through my work as executive director at the IEAI, my role is to facilitate research exactly on these topics and create a growing awareness of the importance of thinking about AI ethics and the responsible use of AI. I have always been interested in applied research, how to bridge the gap between academic research and policy implementation. And with our amazing IEAI team, I get to focus on just that in a variety of ways. Increasing partnerships with AI developers and policy practitioners to ensure we are not operating in a bubble, developing new research project ideas that are relevant to questions society is facing right now, and bridging together researchers and academics from around the world to make sure we are supporting global and holistic approaches to these important topics. It's hard to believe that 2 years ago, the IEAI did not exist. We've done so much with a growing staff. We have 14 running projects. We have multiple new networks and partners. We have a variety of IEAI produced content on the topics of AI ethics. And I'm really proud of our whole staff and everyone else who's worked with us along the way. It's been 2 amazing years. The importance of our work is also underlined by the growing number of other institutes around the world that we're seeing working on this topic. I seem to discover a new one every day that's doing interesting work. And one of my major goals in the coming year is to keep improving our partnerships with these institutes so that we can build off each other's work in order to make as much progress as possible in this ever-growing field. We should really be capitalizing upon each other's work rather than operating in our own silos. So I think working together is really important, especially in such a new discipline. Moreover, a second thing I want to draw on our IEAI project leaders and researchers to strengthen our community and diversity at TUM, at the Technical University of Munich as well. TUM's doing so much research on this topic. It's vital to ensure that those research results are shared among those working at TUM so that we can collaborate better, and also made available to the public and stakeholders that can utilize them. The IEAI is in a perfect position to play this role. I hope to continue to strengthen our internal relationships to this end, to continue building our internal partnerships. Finally, as a result of many of our initial projects, the results of our initial projects will be coming out in the next year. And a goal is to translate these research findings into practice. This is going to be increasingly relevant to us as the projects really come full circle. To that end, I want to prioritize expanding our collaborations with non-academic partners in industry, government, civil society. We already have some great experiences with this over the past year. We've worked with partners like Celonis, Munich Re, IBM, and we're expanding our connections with organizations like the Inter-American Development Bank and UNESCO and the GIZ. So lots of different types of partners that all can benefit from a collaboration with us. So I think there's a lot of potential and interests in this respect. I strongly believe that independent academic research has a vital role to play in designing AI-enabled technology that have the potential to truly make a positive impact on society. University-based research in particular has access to the expertise and the time horizons to produce meaningful and high-quality results that inform the complex challenges we face in the field of AI today. With the IEAI, we also now have the resources to do such research in a really meaningful way. Furthermore, what much of the news about tech companies and their approaches to AI ethics this year has shown us is that AI ethics is not something that can be done completely in-house or completely behind closed doors. It requires public opinion, it requires good governance, and it requires information based on independent and rigorous research to support decision-making, whether that be in government or in companies themselves. This final component, I believe, can be best carried out by academic and research institutions, and is again where the IEAI and hopefully more interdisciplinary groups that are expanding, as I mentioned, can play a facilitating role. As I also mentioned, I was drawn to this work and this job in part because this topic represents a lot of what I've seen throughout my work on good governance. It takes many stakeholders and many perspectives to effectively approach complex problems, and development and use of AI is no different than a lot of the problems we've seen around the world. I also think the COVID-19 pandemic has more clearly than anything in recent memory shown us the limits of what things like medicine or technology can do in the absence of thinking about the social structures and policy mechanisms in which they are placed, right? That will allow medical or technological efforts to be effective. With the with AI, it's the same case. The most important new technological tools with the greatest benefit to humankind will remain ineffective if we do not think about the social and political structures and environments in which they have to operate. At the other end of the spectrum, we have to think about how a seemingly benign tool may have negative implications for overlooked populations or generations to come that need to be examined. So involving researchers and stakeholders from several disciplines and several sectors can allow research and development teams to take these factors into account early on in order to increase effectiveness and hopefully reduce any harms. I'm very excited about both the networks that we've helped to develop since we launched in 2019, and they're both expanding in different ways every day. The enthusiasm of the members really show the need for such networks. In the field of AI ethics, this brings people from very different backgrounds together, from social sciences, from ethics, from philosophy, from computer science. And one of the hurdles to expanding research on this topic is often just not knowing who else is working on it and where, especially when they're spread across so many different fields. So that's why these networks have been particularly valuable in this field for us as well. Both the Global AI Ethics Consortium and the Responsible AI Network Africa are essentially about bringing together researchers who are working on similar topics in order for them to work together rather than operating in silos. We aim to highlight the work of these researchers and are doing so through our events, our research repositories that we've started building, as well as through us at the IEAI being able to connect directly to members and allowing us to build new projects with them and reach a wider audience, and hopefully allowing them to reach a wider audience too. For instance, with the Global AI Ethics Consortium, we have launched a free online course on AI ethics with a focus on global perspectives. This not only gives our consortium members a platform to share the cutting edge research they've been working on, but it opens up AI ethics to a whole new set of people who may not have discovered it otherwise. Because of the Responsible AI Network Africa, the IEAI is now involved in a research project with our RAIN Africa partners in Senegal. Through this, we've connected our researchers and their researchers from totally different backgrounds, both in terms of geography and discipline, to work together on a common project. And these are just some of the more tangible examples these networks already have. After a long period of virtual events, we are very excited to have invited over 20 experts and expect over 150 participants from all around the world. This includes researchers, students, policymakers, industry representatives, to meet and discuss the most relevant and pressing issues related to the responsible use of AI. This will be a 3-day international conference for all players in the field of AI. We welcome everyone. Our vision with this conference is to strike a balance between a forum that's about deep academic exchange with a conference that's about practice-based AI applications and insights. So trying to bring those two sides together that I personally haven't seen done in a way before. Often these two sides work in parallel and lose the opportunity to learn firsthand from each other. So the Responsible AI Forum is our effort to bring research and practice together in an effective and hopefully very enjoyable way. The TRIFE is also about discussing, networking, and promoting sustainable, inclusive, and a comprehensive framework for the use of AI to deliver global benefit. So if I had to choose 3 reasons for someone to attend, these would be to catch up with the most recent developments in the field of responsible AI, to dive deeper into cutting-edge topics with our panelists, presenters, and through our interactive sessions, and to network with significant and international experts from academia, government, and civil society, and industry, of course. After all, nothing beats personal interaction. This is something we've definitely been missing over the past year. And also, why miss an opportunity to come to Munich and enjoy the Advent season and a real Bavarian dinner event that we'll be hosting? So I'm very personally excited about seeing everyone and attending what promises to be a diverse and informative set of sessions.